Hello, good morning, and good afternoon, or what have you, whatever time zone you're in. This is Enter the Black Dragon, and I wanted to only come on here for a brief moment of time because I wanted to um, start reading some of the work that well, not work, but some of the thoughts that I had over 20 years ago. I stumbled over some older files of some uh, documents I created, just expressing my thoughts 20 years ago on I had some theories, some wild ideas that I just wrote. So one of them is telekinesis. So I wanted to go ahead and do a verbatim read on telekinesis and what I thought. This is what I wrote in June 17th, 2004. So it's over 20 years ago. So let me just go ahead and read it, and then you guys can, I don't know, do whatever with it later. But all right. So um, the theory of telekinesis. It is a well-known fact that there are a good handful of people who can control the movement of inanimate objects as well as living things. How is this possible in all areas of physics as well as psychology? Is this somehow the power of the mind over all matter? Well, the answer to this question is simple but somewhat complex. So, once again, if you are reading this, keep a very open mind to my theory containing information on magnetism of the Earth and the non existence of gravity. We'll talk about that later. A well known fact is that anyone can create a temporary magnet where whenever you take a ferrous metal and a strong magnet. The domains of the two objects line up to create a temporary magnet, meaning you can now remove the ferrous metal and can now control its magnetism, including its flux lines. Now, this ferrous metal can move other metals just as a magnet would without physical contact, just like a magnet is able to do. With this fact in mind, let us turn to humans. Humans are constantly magnetized every day and all day since birth. With the open minded theory that humans are magnetized, we too are now walking, breathing permanent magnets. We tend to move objects with our hands and feet or any other mechanical means, but in all actuality, we all have the ability to move objects without physical contact because of the strong magnetic field of the Earth that is that is constantly pulling at us. Take, for instance, a normal sized magnet and a paperclip. Normally, a paperclip cannot hold six or seven other paperclips or a screw without extensive physical contact. But if you take the paperclip and attach it to the magnet for a pretty good while, you can remove the paperclip and grab around six or seven other paperclips and also the screw, which weighs proportionally more than the paperclip due to the fact that the paperclip is manipulating its domains to create the strong magnetic flux, which is grabbing at the paper clips as well as the screw. The paper clip can now grab other ferrous objects that are perhaps twice its original weight. The factor to the paper clip's temporary magnetic power is determined by the power of the magnet that was doing the magnetizing of the paper clip. If a hand-sized magnet is able to create a fairly strong temporary magnet that can pick up twice its weight, such as uh, a paperclip, apply this application to humans. Take a good look at the magnet we are standing on. It is humongous in size and in power compared to us. If you were to take a single human and compare it to the planet, it would appear as if we are small atoms attached to a huge super magnet. And with this in mind, it is very conceivable that we are able to manipulate our own magnetic potential using our mind to move objects that are very proportional to our weight. This door in the mind has yet to be opened by scientists as well as psychologists because they do not know what they are looking for. Telekinesis is no doubt a phenomenon, but it is also a scientific foundation of human evolution. It is my belief that over the vast number of years humans have existed, a lot of doors to the mind have been opened, but yet a lot of doors are still closed. In some applications, science can play the part of the skeleton key that unlocks doors to mysteries. This is a door I found just by sitting and thinking about magnetism on the very same day that I came up with the non existence of gravity theory. So the question still comes up, how does this kind of telekinesis work? It is, in my opinion, that whoever opens this door subconsciously knows how to manipulate their atoms to polarize to an extreme extent of magnetism. Let me break it down for you. Let's say a person wanted to move a soda can 5 feet from them to their hand. Okay, from them to their hand. This person would have to concentrate his atoms to create a pole of either a positive charge or a negative charge of magnetism, or another term, making themselves into a north or south pole, depending on what the soda can's atoms are going to respond to the most. So let's say that that person is creating a positive pole. This would mean that the soda can would expose all of its electrons. The electrons want to go to the positive pole. This creates the entire movement of the soda can to that person. Let's say the person changes his mind and doesn't not want the soda can to come directly to him, but he wants to put the soda can back. The person in their mind would have to quickly change the domains and create a different kind of pole. The domains would change enough to stop the soda can from coming with the equilibrium of the soda, of the person, and the soda can, it would, it could just hover in the air. Now, again, the person concentrates on creating negative pole within themselves, since the positive pole is what seemed to attract the soda can. The person would use the negative pole to repel the soda can and set it back down. If the person wanted to, if the person wanted the can to just hover in stasis, it would create a slightly proportional positive and negative pole that would keep the soda can right in the air, strong enough to keep it above the ground, but not strong enough to pull or push it anywhere. This is my belief of how telekinesis is really done. Imagine the application of this knowledge. A single person, maybe of 16 years or 16 years of age or older, can use themselves as a super powerful temporary magnet to move objects far greater in weight and than themselves. For instance, Superman, able to lift tanks, trucks, and other things that are physically impossible for humans to do muscle and mass. But this can now be accomplishable due to the use of magnetism within ourselves. The application can also state the possibility of human flight. Let me be the first. Let me first break down an example of how to explain how this would work. Um, If you take a screwdriver and attach it to a magnet, the domains would line up so that it had the magnetic properties of that magnet, meaning north and south pole, being created within the screwdriver. In some cases, I suppose it is possible to have um, a stronger north pole and a very weak south pole, but the existence of south pole would definitely be there. There's no escaping that factor, but the screwdriver can now also repel as well as pull due to the magnetization, meaning with a strong enough magnet, it is that is opposite to the primary pole charge of the screwdriver itself could hover in the air. If you were, in example, to use a magnetic pad that had a strong north pole, you could place the screwdriver with the north pole charge on the pad and it would repel itself from the pad. Or if you want the hover concept, if you dropped the screwdriver onto the pad, it is conceivable that it could hover in the air for a given amount of time. Remember, the screwdriver is just a temporary magnet, so the time would play a big factor in this example. It would be easier to show this example rather than explain it, but if you can follow at what exactly I'm trying to get at, you could imagine a person aligning themselves to the pull of the magnetic field of the Earth. If they were to tune themselves into the same pole they are being pulled at, they would they would begin to repel the person creating human flight. Height, weight, speed, control would all play a factor in accomplishing this action. If these factors can be controlled, there would absolutely be no reason at all to have a vehicle. To fly from one location to another would only cost you your concentration of your mind. So I was 23 when I wrote that. Um, there are other papers that I wrote at this time, and I'm going to read them and go through, just read them. That's it. That's it. So that's telekinesis when I was 23 years old. See you on the next one.